Good evening, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. And you know, while Cyril Ramaphosa is out there beating the drum, trying to get finance and investment in South Africa, something far more serious is starting to happen back home. And I'll tell you what it's about. And this is what I'll do first is I will tell you a lot of information about an infection called Listeriosis. It's a bacterial infection. And after I've given you this information, I will then tell you why we're talking about this. Now let's remember the public health system in South Africa is a complete disgrace. So that is a compounding factor in what we're going to be talking about. Okay. Listeriosis is a bacterial infection most commonly caused by Listeria monocytogenes, although L. evaneae and L. grayi have been reported in certain cases. Listeriosis can cause severe illness, including severe sepsis, meningitis or encephalitis, sometimes resulting in a lifelong harm and even death. And that's why we're talking about this, because several people have died from this in South Africa recently. How will I know if I have listeriosis? The symptoms of listeriosis may show up 2 to 30 days after exposure. Symptoms in pregnant women include mild flu-like symptoms, headaches, muscle aches, fever, nausea, and vomiting. If the infection spreads to the nervous system, it can cause a stiff neck, disorientation, or convulsions. What are the signs and symptoms of listeria? Symptoms: pregnant women. Pregnant women typically experience only fever and other flu-like symptoms such as fatigue and muscle aches. People other than pregnant women, symptoms can include headache, stiff neck, confusion, loss of balance, and convulsions in addition to fever and muscle ache. What type of foods contain listeria? It's a harmful bacterium that can be found in refrigerated, ready-to-eat foods, meat, poultry, seafood, and dairy, unpasteurized milk and milk products or foods made with unpasteurized milk, and produce harvested from soil contaminated with L. monocytogenes. How do you treat listeriosis? For more severe cases of listeriosis, antibiotics are the most common treatment. Ampicillin can be used alone or in conjunction with other antibiotic, often gentamicin. If septicemia or meningitis occur, the individual will be given intravenous antibiotics and require up to 6 weeks of care and treatment. Can listeria go away on its own? Listeriosis is a rare infection caused by a bacteria called Listeria. It usually goes away on its own, but can cause serious problems if you're pregnant or have a weak immune system. Now, the weak immune system is really the killer punch here, because a huge percentage of the African population are suffering from AIDS, which really impacts the immune system. So you can see how vulnerable they are to this bacteria. How long does it take to recover from listeria? Treatment in pregnancy. Recovery from a mild infection may be quick. You should feel back to normal within 3 to 5 days. If you have a more advanced infection, recovery depends on the severity of the infection. If your infection becomes invasive, recovery may take up to 6 weeks. How dangerous is listeria? Listeria infection, also known as listeriosis, is uncommon, but it can cause death in at-risk people, such as the elderly and people whose immune systems are not working properly. It can be dangerous to pregnant women and their unborn babies. Okay, so look, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tell you why we're talking about this. Last year, a listeriosis diagnosis would be cause for panic, but now it seems 87 confirmed cases since the deadly outbreak are no cause for alarm for health officials. The 2017-2018 outbreak led to deaths of more than 200 people across the country. The deadly outbreak was traced back to a Tiger Brands factory. The National Institute for Communicable Diseases, or NICD, said since the announcement at the end of the outbreak in September last year, 87 laboratory-confirmed cases have been reported in the country. Prior to the outbreak, there were about 100 cases reported per year. During the outbreak, 1,064 cases were reported. Since the end of the outbreak, the number of new cases returned to pre-outbreak levels. From the 3rd of September 2018 to the 18th of September 2019, only 87 cases were reported. The NICD has stressed that in the reported cases, no new cases of the ST6 outbreak strain have been identified since the first week of September 2018. There is no evidence of an outbreak either from the ST6 outbreak strain or any other strain, the NICD said. The Institute is investigating 61 of the 87 cases. 77% of all confirmed cases, 21 people have died. Most of the reported cases occurred in Gauteng with 31, followed by Western Cape 23 and KwaZulu-Natal with 16 cases. Age range from birth to 80 years and 57% are female. 36% of cases are pregnancy associated with 30 out of 84 cases, followed by adults aged 15 to 49 and 50 to 64. 4 cases in children aged from a month to 14 were reported, the NICD stated. Symptoms of listeriosis include fever, muscle aches, and sometimes nausea or diarrhea. If infection spreads to the nervous system, symptoms such as headache, stiff neck, confusion, loss of balance, or convulsions can occur. But infected pregnant women may only experience mild flu-like illness. This month, lawyers representing people affected by the listeriosis outbreak in lawsuits against Tiger Brands said the court action was facing long delays. The company received summons for the class action in April last year. The South Gauteng High Court determined that Richard Spoor attorneys could continue the class action on behalf of about 1,000 people. Tiger Brands has issued subpoenas against food testing laboratories to obtain information about the identities of people who submitted samples for testing listeriosis and the results of those tests during the outbreak. 2 laboratories, Aspirata and Delta Mune, have indicated that they would oppose this as the information is confidential. In a worst-case scenario, the matter could go all the way to the Constitutional Court, which could take years, Spoor said in an interview. Now, the reason we're talking about this is because it is so easily spread, because if you've got a contaminated product, and I've told you what those foods are, I'll just repeat those for you. This is how listeriosis is actually ingested and how you get sick. Let me just get to the right spot here. Okay, so the foods that contain or can contain listeria are refrigerated, ready-to-eat foods, meat, poultry, seafood and dairy, unpasteurized milk and milk foods of foods made with unpasteurized milk, and produce harvested from soil contaminated with L-monocytogenes. Now look, the chances of getting this thing are tiny, but I just want to put this information on the record on my channel, because if something does happen, like a big outbreak, you can always refer to this information. And what I'll do is I will put Listeria in the title so that it's easy to find this just by searching YouTube. Searching Listeria and a Loving Life. Alright guys, please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. Ring the bell for the updates. Please like this video, please share this video, and above all, stay safe. Bye for now.